If you're feeling stuck, adding more exercise is absolutely not what we should be doing. Chronic overtraining keeps our cortisol high. Remember, that holds onto fat and breaks down our muscle. The results that you want happen in recovery, not within your workout. Hello and welcome to Reclaim Your Strength. My name is Danielle. I'm a personal trainer and online fitness coach, and I help women over the ages of 35 regain their strength or start fitness for the very first time. Welcome, welcome. I am so glad you're all here today. We are at episode number 4 and it is really exciting. I'm really grateful for all the feedback that I've got so far in regards to this podcast. It has been so overwhelming. So I want to say a big thank you to everyone who has been putting their comments below and also reaching out to me to let me know how grateful they are for the podcast so far. So thank you. I'm really excited. But please do review and share, because this is going to help get this information out to other people as well. And also don't forget to let me know what information you would like me to cover. It's really important. This podcast is all about what I can deliver for you and the information that I can sift through and make sure that you're getting the accurate information. It is a lot of information out there, so we want to make sure that it is accurate, that it is useful for you as well too. So please do reach out and let me know what topics you would like me to cover in the future. So let's sit back, let's relax. Let's just shake it all off and take a load off, because today we are talking about recovery. Now, this particular topic is really important because I feel like it is quite misunderstood. And I also believe that women at this stage of life really need to take this particular topic very seriously. So let's dive in. Here's the thing. Fitness culture, social media, influencers that we follow are telling us that we need to be working harder, we need to be doing more sessions, we need to be doing more steps, we need to be feeling the burn, sweating, and that is going to bring us results. And this couldn't be further from the truth. Unfortunately, this information is actually not helpful. It actually can send us backwards. So the real reason we're exhausted, frustrated, and stuck is because our body hasn't had time to play catch up. We're pushing ourselves to this limit and we're trying to get all the things in as much time as possible. And sometimes for some of us, it is going to the gym for an hour. But I know people who are going to the gym in the morning and then they're going in the evening and they're pushing all of these classes, sometimes 3 classes in a row. And they think that this is going to give them results. I'm sorry, but this is actually going to do more damage than good. So let's take a breath. Let's focus on what we need to learn from today's episode. We are going to talk about the how, the what, and the why. And we're hopefully going to give you some tools to walk away with as well. So first things first, let's talk hormones. I know. We do. It's really important because this actually can impact so many things. If you're going through perimenopause and menopause, the rules of exercise have completely changed. And most fitness advice out there is actually not helpful. It's not for you. We just need to start to understand that our body works differently at this point of our life. I know it's not ideal, but we do have to make sure that we are focusing on how our bodies are right now and what needs to be done to make our exercise more effective and to allow progress to actually occur. So during this stage of our life, estrogen is declining. Now, estrogen does a lot of things. It's not just a reproductive hormone. One of its jobs is to keep inflammation in check. So as it drops, your body becomes more inflamed from exercise. And this means recovery takes longer. This is not because you're unfit, because the chemistry within your body has actually shifted. Cortisol, your stress hormone, it starts to dominate more. And here's the key thing, exercise is stress. It's a good kind of stress, but your body still treats it the same way as it would treat any other stress. Stress is a threat that our body needs to recover from. Without estrogen as a buffer to that response, a hard training session hits your body harder than it used to. Your muscles take longer to repair. Now, there's solid research out there that shows that women during perimenopause and menopause don't build muscle as quickly as they used to when they were younger. So the same workout that you used to do when you were younger would leave you sore for a couple of days, but now it would leave you sore for a heck of a lot longer. Now, this is very common to hear because I actually get a lot of women who do too much, and I'm going to say it, too much, and they are constantly sore, always sore. They're never not sore. And this actually is a problem. You should be able to recover and not be sore all the time. There's also seems to be some sort of inconsistency that might be happening with your training as well to keep you sore all the time. So this is very important to understand. You should not be sore all the time. The number one thing out there is sleep. Sleep is harder at this time, and we know this. And I totally understand that a lot of you are going through different phases of waking up during the night or not being able to get to sleep because your mind is racing, or you're waking up and quite alert around 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. And this is very common for a lot of people, but it actually can be looked at, and also changes can be made in order to assist with this particular issue. But another big topic, and I think it should be at number one, but however we've got it here, is sleep gets harder. And we've talked about this before. You get the night sweats, you're waking up at 3 a.m., your mind is racing all the time, so you can't get yourself to sleep. Your sleep is lighter overall. And I think this is very common for all of us at this point, and some of us are probably nodding going, yeah, this is me. But I'm going to reiterate how important sleep is and to get under control. It is not a badge of honor that you have disrupted sleep, but I know it can be problematic. And also, if you are unable to get sleep under control by putting some things in place, by staying away from devices an hour or so before you go to bed, don't check emails, don't check social media while you're in bed, stay away from that stuff for an hour beforehand. Find and play around with a nighttime routine, whether it is switching yourself off from everything, a nice relaxing cup of tea before you go to bed, read a little bit of a book, one that's not stimulating, more that's relaxing. And if this is not working for you, then the next point of call is your GP. But sleep, as I said, is very important because if you have less recovery, then you're going to have less results. Your muscle is not going to be able to go through that recovery process and growth process if you are not getting a good amount of sleep and rest and recovery. So keep in mind that your body isn't broken at this point. It's just operating completely differently. And the approach that we take with everything needs to match where we are now within our body. All right, another real reason why we're not getting results here from our workouts. Okay, so I want you to sit with this one because I think that a lot of us are in this particular situation and share this similar pain point. You're training 5-6 days a week. You're trying to eat well. You're following the programs. You're watching the reels. You're doing all the things, and yet nothing is budging. Or worse, you feel more tired, more puffy, and more frustrated than when you first started. And then we reach for the internet and we try and find a way to get through these. And the answers that we're usually getting is try harder, go harder, be more consistent. But let's take a step back. So when you exercise, you create tiny tears within your muscle. Scary, I know. But a lot of you, especially if you've been training with me, you would understand this already, that there's tiny micro tears that happen within your muscle. This is the first process of how your muscle is built. So during the exercise, this is where it occurs, but this is not where the muscle build actually happens. It's not during your exercise. Your body then goes through that repair process knowing that we have created this particular stress on the muscle. And then as we're resting and recovering, this is where that repair process occurs, and that muscle strength and that muscle build and that muscle build and muscle strengthening results from. It's having that recovery time. Now, without that recovery time, we're just creating damage upon damage upon damage and not giving our body time to do that repair and recovery and strengthening process. Now, layer that with higher cortisol, too much training, and not sleeping well. Let's add general stress as well too. Because let's be honest, we have our plates full at home as well. So we've got this stress that's happening in the gym, which is, part of the process. But we also have this stress that's happening within our homes and our daily lives as well, or work. And these stresses, as we've said, are the same. Now, when cortisol is chronically elevated, it holds onto fat. Now, for us perimenopause women, it is around the belly. But remember, it's a survival mechanism. Your body thinks it's under threat, and it's not letting go of those energy reserves. Now, unfortunately, at the same time, cortisol does break down that muscle tissue. So you're doing all of this hard work, and your body is actually moving in the opposite direction to what you want. Less muscle, more fat storage, more fatigue. Now, there's research out there that does show that women who are doing more and pushing more without the recovery time are actually holding on to fat and not losing it the way that they want. And they also have less muscle. Now, compare this to women doing less and focusing more. They are actually able to reduce this fat and also grow the muscle. Now, we have our nervous system. Now, we have two modes. We have fight or flight, or we have rest and repair. When you're constantly training stressed and undersleeping, you're stuck in fight or flight. And the frustrating truth here is that all of that adaptation, all of that change, all of the results you've been working for, they happen in rest and repair mode. So if you're not getting that rest and repair and you're in fight and flight, all of that effort is actually not doing anything for your body. It's keeping you stuck. So your body never changes. So when you're finding that actually nothing is working, it's quite possible that we're just going on information that's just not working for us. So it's not your fault. We're following along with what's out there and we're not actually doing what's meant for us as an individual. So know that more exercise is not the answer. Better recovery is. So let's go into what a recovery actually looks like. So we're going to get practical here. And recovery is not lounging around, bubble baths, nice candles and everything, just sitting down and relaxing. No, this is not recovery. This is not what we mean by recovery, although those things are great and I think you should still be doing them. Recovery should be a non-negotiable that's within your schedule, as well as your exercise and your nutrition. Always those three: recovery, exercise, nutrition, non-negotiables. Adjust on those crazy weeks, but non-negotiable should always be within your calendar. So what does recovery include here? I'm going to say it. You're going to hate it. Sleep. I'm sorry. It needs to be looked at. It needs to be assessed. It needs to be a big part of your recovery process. It is the single most powerful recovery tool, and there is a new study out there which I can definitely link if you like. It explains how without recovery, how much the body is impact overall. So we're looking at maybe 4 to 6 hours a day sleep for weeks, and how that actually can highly impact the body and not in a good way. So we do need to pay attention to this particular recovery because it's impacting the body in more ways than you will know. And I will definitely, if you need me to, link that particular study, but also I can have that information out there for you, because it is definitely a topic that I do want to be bringing up in depth because of this great study that's out there telling us more information about how it impacts us. But I digress. So during the sleep, our muscles go through the repair process and it rebuilds the tissue. And that's creates a stronger muscle foundation, but also creates more of a muscle build as well too. So it makes the muscles a little bit bigger and filling in the gaps within our body. Now, without this particular process happening and no sleep, it's not going to happen. As mentioned before, even one night with under 6 hours sleep, it has been shown to increase inflammation and mess with blood sugar levels and reduce how your muscles recover and repair for the next day. This is just one night. So imagine what months of broken sleep actually, how it impacts our body. Now, I know that perimenopause makes sleep harder. I do get it, but it is so worth taking seriously. Undersleeping is not just annoying, but it is impacting your body greatly. So as I mentioned before, it is worth talking to your GP if you are trying all the things and you are putting some processes in place and they don't seem to be working. Now, when I say putting these processes in place, don't just try for a couple of days. You actually have to start changing your habits, and habits take a long time to adjust to. And I'm going to be honest here, habits don't change within 21 to 28 days. That is a myth, okay? The real amount of time depends on the person and depends on how consistent you are with it. And it does take a long time for a habit to be instilled in somebody. So you've got to give it time. You've got to give it persistence. You've got to also relax a little bit. And I know that's hard to say, but don't force anything. But also don't get up at nighttime and start doing housework or anything like that, because you're creating a brand new habit. You're giving yourself new habits of your body saying now, oh, I've got to get up now and I've got to go do housework, or I've got to do washing at 3 a.m. in the morning. I know it's difficult, but you cannot allow your body to, or your mind to take over. You have to keep trying to be consistent. And if this is hard, and I know that this is hard, you just have to keep trying, or go to your GP or your healthcare professional for some advice as well too. It is so important that you do this and take this seriously. So ideally, I know, but we need to target about 7 to 9 hours sleep. I know it seems like it might be out of reach, but it is a non-negotiable. Okay, let's talk rest days. A rest day is a rest day. No activity. Sorry, no activity. No gym, okay? You can do things like walking around, that's fine, doing your housework and all of that. We can cover that, but doing housework and doing all the movement during the day is actually where a lot of your energy burn comes from. So that's really, really important, more so than your exercise. So all of that walking around and everything is still really important. So it's a good key to keep that consistent as well. So walking around and doing all of that, but definitely, absolutely no gym, no running, no exercise like that, no HIIT, right? Recovery, rest, stop. Now, for some of us, this could look like 2 days full rest, okay with, and I've noticed that even just 1 day's rest, still very helpful. Some might need 2, but this is when I say no gym, rest. Now, I know that people feel guilty when they're not doing any exercise or that on a rest day. I understand that completely, but you have to have a mind shift here. We've been conditioned, unfortunately, that movement and exercise equals progress. And if we're not doing anything, we're not progressing. We're just being lazy. And that is just furthest from the truth. These rest days are so important because your results are happening while you are doing all of this. So you need to shift that thought process. You have to take on board that rest and recovery is doing you so good, and it is the best thing you could possibly do for your body. We need to manage stress. Now, as we mentioned before, our body doesn't know the difference between stress, whether it's exercise stress, it is home stress, all the things. Stress is actually stress, and your body actually reacts the same way to it. So if your life is full of stress, your body is actually going to struggle with your full-on exercise and your intensity of your exercise. It is actually going to make you more fatigued, and it is going to be more of a struggle. So we need to focus on things that bring our nervous system down a little bit. Going for a walk, Now, my suggestion is if you're going for a walk, and I am actually quite bad at this as well too, I listen to podcasts and stuff like that as I go for my walks because I continually trying to educate myself, of course, but sometimes it is a really good idea to actually go for a walk without the headphones on, just taking in and absorbing your surroundings and nature around you and really taking in that rest and just allowing that noise to just dissipate and just to reduce that internal noise and just absorb that beautiful walk. Slowing our breathing down is good. I always love to recommend that people just take a little bit of time to just sit, even for if it's a couple of minutes, and do some nice in-out breaths and just relax. And especially when they're getting into a moment of stress and they know that they are going to struggle a little bit, it is so important. I know it's hard, especially for mums and that out there, to try and find a quiet little space, even for a couple of minutes, to take some breaths. But it is just so beneficial to do that. And the more that you do that and the more practice that you do within just calm breathing, it's just such a benefit. So spending time outside is another great thing, even if it's just that walk or just sitting outside. My partner and I randomly just sit outside on the back porch. We have some beautiful birds that hang around, and just sitting there for a moment. Sometimes we just need to step out that door just for a moment, sit on the porch and watch nature occur. And I know it sounds a little bit fluffy to some people, but it has such a benefit to us as well too. And believe it or not, stuff that we do like that actually helps our relationship a little bit more and how our household actually feels. So I do recommend sitting outside just for the moment and just looking at what's going on out there and just taking it in and just quietening the mind for a little bit. It's just really important to just step out into that nature and those outdoors. If you've got grass, walk on grass with bare feet. It has so many scientific benefits to it. So I highly recommend that if you get the opportunity to do that. It is called grounding, so don't be misled by that, but it is such a good experience to do something like that because your body actually needs it. There's a lot of research out there that shows how grounding can be very beneficial for you. So do that. Meditation is another good one. Meditation can look like so many different things, by the way. It doesn't mean that you have to sit and stop thinking. That is not what meditation is at all. I've run a lot of meditation classes with great success, and I love to do more in the future too. So watch out for that. But also, hey, while we're there, hit me up if you think that meditation might be another good thing that you want me to add to this podcast every now and then, a little bit of a meditation session as a bonus. I have been talking with some of my previous clients and they absolutely loved those classes, so they miss them greatly. And so if you feel like that's something you would like me to add to this podcast as a little bonus or anything like that, hit me down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your feedback on that. But meditation, so many different ways to do this. Meditation could be just going for a walk that's silent. Meditation could be putting clothes on the line and just quietening your mind a little bit, or just focusing on the task at hand of putting clothes on the line. I know that sounds weird, but it could be just that. It could be sitting down and reading a book and just absorbing what's going on within that book. So meditation doesn't have to be sitting in a quiet space, dark candles. It doesn't have to be that. Meditation is just taking a moment to shut out all of the noise and try and focus in on within and just focus on yourself for the moment. No tasks, not what's happening at the moment, no tomorrow, no yesterday, just staying within the moment. And whatever that works for you, run with it. Let's talk eating. Food. Your body cannot repair as well without good nutrition. One of those main nutrition pieces is protein, and I know we talk about this a lot, but it is so important. Research consistently shows that women midlife are not getting enough protein, and protein is really important for our muscle recovery and to gain results from our exercise. Most of the time it's because we've been told to eat less, and that is so far from the truth as well too. I know I said that a lot, but again, it's information that we have been told, eat less and you will lose weight, and this is just not true, especially if you are training. If you are training, you need food, you need fuel. Your metabolism cannot run on empty. So when it comes to protein, let's just start simply, because I know that if we're not eating enough protein, we do need to sort of start to build that up slowly. We can't load ourselves up with food instantly because our body just won't accept it. And it will be a struggle, and it will actually make you feel worse, not better. So what we want to do is start things slowly, progressively add these things week upon week. And it only has to be a small amount to make a difference. So what I want you to do is I want you to take your weight, okay? I want you to multiply it by 1.6. Now, this is roughly how many grams of protein that you are required to have daily, especially if you're training. Now, for some, especially women in perimenopause, we've been told that we do need about 2 grams or more. I don't want to start there for people who are not full on training, but slowly getting into exercise and slowly building up, because some of us are beginners here. So I want to start small, because we don't want to overwhelm you too much at this point. So this is why we're saying 1.6. Let's start with the basic number of 1.6 and times that by how many kilos of weight your body is. So for example, if you are 70 kilos, we are looking at 112 grams. Now, most women are actually getting half of that. So if we slowly build this up and look at this number, we slowly build and slowly build every week, we can definitely see results from this. So this is definitely not the time for us to be under eating. Under eating equals under fueling, especially during training. And this is the sure way to actually start tanking your progress. You'll lose energy and start to feel more tired, and when we want to feel more energized. Okay, so what changes when we start to commit to all of this? The food, the sleep, the rest days, the recovery. We have to start to treat rest and recovery of something that is necessary, not something that we have to earn. We've got to take that away from our minds right away. The results when we start to actually follow this process as best we can is we start to get stronger, our body starts to adapt to the process, and actual muscles start to actually grow. So what actually happens when we start to follow this process of the sleep, the recovery time, the breathing, the slowing down? We start to get stronger. Our muscles have time to build. Our energy levels out. We start to feel less fatigued. We start to feel a little bit more stable. We hopefully no longer feel like we're running on empty all the time. Our body composition starts to change, not because we're doing more, but because we're allowing our body and our cortisol to drop, and fat starts to actually move now. This stuff takes time too. So our mood improves, our sleep, stress, cortisol. So our mood improves. Sleep, stress, cortisol, and mood are deeply linked. So when you start protecting your recovery, your nervous system starts to calm down. And it has such a big impact on how you feel from day to day. Your training actually does get better. You can show up with more energy, and when you are going into your training sessions, you can lift better, you can move better. You've just given yourself some time to recover so you can step back into your training with such good energy and better mindset. So with the training programs I've given my clients, it's just 3 days a week of training, and they've got their recovery times set in there. They've got their walk set in there. They've got their cardio set in there, and it is a balanced framework as well too, which is really important. I know that doesn't always happen, but if changes need to be made, changes need to be made. But there is this balance in there of getting that rest and recovery, and the results have been amazing. So it does work. Okay, so let's make this actionable. Here are 5 things you can start doing this week. Now, not all at once. Maybe pick one and actually do it. Here's your time, okay? I'm going to test you all here. Number 1, maybe look at your training week. How are you training? How much are you training? How many sessions did you do? And how many recovery or rest days did you have? So if you had fewer rest days, that's the first thing that I would actually attend to. Not your program, not your diet. Just look at adding rest days. Think about whether you're training too much and I'm getting the rest and recovery that my body really needs in between time. 2, treat your sleep like a training session. Pick a consistent time to go to bed and get up in the morning, even on weekends. I know that's hard. It's hard for me as well too. But your body loves routine and works on routine. How about we just start with 45 minutes? Our wind down time is about 45 minutes before bedtime. Screens off, low lighting, really important. Bright lights actually indicate to the body that it is daytime. So lights, soft lighting is really, really important. And did you know that around 18 degrees of temperature is actually an ideal temp for sleeping as well too? So maybe consider that as well. If you do struggle with night sweats, this is something that I would probably suggest that you talk to your GP about. That's going to be really important, especially if it impacts your sleep greatly. You really don't have to suffer through that, so definitely have that chat. Start tracking your recovery instead of tracking your workouts. This is an interesting one. You don't need a fancy app. Just pop a note on your phone. That's okay. Every morning, jot down how many hours of sleep that you had. Give yourself a score out of 10 for your energy. Give yourself a score out of 10 for your mood. But also look at any muscle soreness as well. After you do this for a couple of weeks, you'll start to see some patterns emerging. You can start to see where fatigue is accumulating and use that as some biofeedback within the body. Number 4, increase your protein. For some of you, I think this one might be a priority too, so we'll see how we go. But do the calculation that we gave you earlier, 1.6 times by your weight in kilograms. Look at that as your daily goal. Now, if you know you're nowhere near it, just slowly build yourself up. Okay. What we do want to do at least is try and aim for about 30 grams per meal. So if you are interested, I do have a protein cheat sheet that I can send you as well too. So if you are interested in that protein cheat sheet, which gives you some of these calculations, lists of foods that are high in protein and some indicators on how to get that protein on a daily basis, then please let me know below and I will send that out to you as well too. So we do have a little bit of guidance there if you do need it and that is a bit of a struggle for you. Just let me know below if you would like a copy of that cheat sheet. So look at where the sources of your protein are coming from and which ones are higher in protein could be the really ones that are a good go-to. You've got things like eggs, Greek yogurt, chicken breast is a really high one as well. Some of your fishes are great and we definitely need fish, but they are a little bit lower in the protein scale. But I do think that fish definitely needs to be within your diet for joints and things like that, but doesn't quite have that high protein, so just be aware of that. But they are great. So fish, legumes, and even a good quality protein powder is fine. Don't be worried or concerned that it is a supplement. It is a great supplement to add if you are struggling a little bit on adding that quality of protein throughout your day. It is such a great one to add to your diet. So as I said, focus on every meal. Try and get around the 30 or plus of protein within each meal and make that the hero of your actual plate rather than anything else. Focus on the protein first and allow the other stuff to fill in the gaps. Number 5, do one nervous system reset every day. 5 minutes of slow breathing. Box breathing is a great one. Box breathing is where you can sit. It's a great system to focus on because it's a pretty simple system to focus on. So all you need to do with box breathing is to breathe in for a count of 4, hold that breath for a count of 4, breathe out for a count of 4 and hold that breath again for a count of 4. And do that cycle about 4 or 5 times. This is a great way to reset that rest and repair mode. 20 minutes of a walk with no device. You could do 10 minutes of stretching before you go to bed. No matter what it is, do it with intention. That is the important thing. Don't do it as a tick in your box. Put it as a non-negotiable and a necessity and part of your routine. All right, let's wrap this up. We have talked for so long on this particular topic, and I think it's a really important one. So if I go over my normal half an hour, I think that it's really important that we did get this subject attended to because it is something that people just are not taking seriously enough. So what did we cover today? Your hormones. Estrogen is lower. Cortisol is more dominant. And recovery takes longer, especially for us at this moment. This is where we're at right now. So working with it is the smartest thing we can do. More training is not the answer. If you're feeling stuck, adding more exercise is absolutely not what we should be doing. Chronic overtraining keeps our cortisol high. Remember, that holds onto fat and breaks down our muscle. The results that you want happen in recovery, not within your workout. Sleep is your number one tool. Protect sleep like it matters dearly to you. Rest days are not lazy. It's where your body actually changes. Eat enough protein so your muscle can rebuild. Your nervous system needs downtime. Lock it in as a non-negotiable. Okay, so your homework. Choose one of those tasks to do, but I want you to actually do it. Start immediately. Not tomorrow, immediately. So if you feel that this episode has hit home for you, or you feel like it actually is beneficial for another person, please do share it. I would highly encourage, especially if you are finding that you know someone who is struggling with their recovery and struggling with progress, please share. Don't forget, if you're interested in that protein freebie, let me know below and we will get that out to you as well. But thank you so much. I would love to hear your feedback on this one. I want to know also if you're taking on any of these tools and if they start to work for you, or if you have any more questions in regards to this particular topic, please do reach out, because I know that there's probably more questions that you might have on this particular topic or anything else, and I'd definitely love to hear from you. You make this podcast happen. So until next time, don't forget to reclaim your strength.